Hello, guys. Welcome. It is your favorite wellness health coaches, Kesha and Ivy here, and this is the Chat, Chew, and You show, the interactive wellness show where it's all about promoting self-care, holistic health, and confident, energetic living. Who doesn't want that, right?
Right.
So today, right. Today we are talking about invisibilities. Actually, this is something new I'm learning, or invisible illnesses or invisible disabilities. All those terms are pretty similar. You know, what they are, the challenges of people living with them, and then what we can do, even if we don't suffer from this, what we can do. And we have our girl, special guest, Yolanda Spinks on, who is going to share her journey and expertise as well. I know. And I'll introduce Yolanda in a second. First things first, a couple of things. One, anytime during the show or even after, share with us your comments, your questions, your feedback here on Blab, or if you want your question to be anonymous or anything, shoot us an email at chatchewingyou@gmail.com. Secondly, as the name suggests, Chat, Chew, and You. Tell us what you're chewing on tonight. And I'll go first. Actually, unfortunately, I'm not chewing, I'm sipping. I have some, have you guys had I think it's Boathouse Farms juices?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying the vegetable one tonight, so we'll see. I mixed it with some the greens juice.
And what vegetables or fruits are in there?
Girl, I would have to go get the bottle for you, but in the red one, the one that was all vegetable juices, it was all red vegetables, and I think it may have some carrots as well, but it was reds and oranges, radish, some other stuff.
You said you mixed it, you might have to excuse yourself.
Right. No, I tasted it right first, and I did not like it at all by itself. I was like, do I have to dilute this with some water or something? But what I did was I like their green goodness. They have a green goodness smoothie and then just the greens, juice as well. So I mixed it with some of the green and it tastes a lot better. So that's what I'm sipping on because I need to get my second dose.
If we see her throw the church finger,
and I throw away like that.
You don't even have to say anything. We're just gonna know.
Can I put me on mute? I'm gonna put myself on mute and I'm gonna just go ahead and walk away. But that's okay. I have my water just in case. So that's what I got tonight. What about you guys?
I actually have tea over here right now, but I will be stepping out to get some more chews during the show. So when you all see me go, that's where I'm going. I don't know where Keisha
Okay. All right.
So I've got some Tazo tea over here.
Okay.
I have Coke Zero. It's in a red cup. There's no alcohol in it tonight. It's just Coke.
No, that is the alcohol cup, but we know what that looks like.
So I'm totally sober tonight. Don't worry.
It's okay. It's 8:00. We can do whatever we want to do now. All right. Well, welcome guys who just joined us, Zakaya and Melissa. Welcome. So we're just getting started. We're just talking about what we were sipping on. All of us are sipping tonight. We're not chewing, but okay, we'll take it.
Not yet. I'm going to get my chew during the show.
All right. And if you can share, please do so. All right.
I will. I'll pass it around.
Okay. I want to introduce our guest for tonight, the lovely Yolanda Spinks. She is a Memphis lifestyle blogger and digital media strategist. She has a charming smile, and deep-rooted Southern drawl to match what you guys here are talking. I love it. She is dedicated to inspiring and motivating women and girls of color to live in purpose and on purpose. And her work is to bring awareness, to PCOS, or polycystic ovarian syndrome, and infant mortality in communities of color. They're just two of the ways that she gives back to her community. In her spare time, you can find her reading a book and being Auntie Londa to her great nieces, Goo and Kay. Welcome, Yo-Yo!
Hey, y'all!
All right, so I will tell you guys, this topic of invisible illnesses and disabilities is, I won't say new to me, the term is new to me. So Ivy introduced this to me previously, and I really didn't know what any of it was about. But then I've been doing some research, and there's a huge community out there for people with invisible illnesses. So tonight we'll be talking about what an invisible illness is, some challenges. Yolanda's going to share her journey and some things she's going to rap with us about. Ivy as well. And I'm excited for this topic. So I'm ready to absorb some information here. Awesome. So what do we have? Where do we want to start?
Well, I think a good place to start, because our topic is about invisible illnesses, is just kind of explaining what does the term invisible illness mean. Because it is, like you said, you never heard of it, and a lot of people have not heard of it before. Last week actually was, excuse me, Invisible Illness Awareness Week, where it was a week of focusing on, bringing the awareness and support around invisible illness. But invisible illnesses are illnesses that you wouldn't look at a person and know outright that they have a chronic illness or that they're in pain. So some of the things that fall underneath of that would be like lupus, sickle cell, PCOS, endometriosis, scoliosis, also cancer. Certain cancers fall underneath of that because you don't automatically look at a person and know. So those are things, a lot of times people feel like, a person's sick if you see them in a wheelchair, or if you see them with a cane, or if they have tubes, or it's like, oh, I know that person's sick. But a lot of times a person can look quote unquote healthy and be living with a chronic illness. And that's what invisible illness is.
Had not heard of the term. What about you? What about you, Yolanda? Have you, how long have you, I guess, have been with an invisible illness, and what it's been about for you?
Well, for me, I guess I have lived with it all of my life, but I didn't know it.
Right.
I just assumed that I was the sickly one. Something was always wrong. Like I was always going to the emergency room for something, and it was always pain. So for the most part, I've always dealt with the chronic pain, but never knew the root of it. And just was never diagnosed until this year. I found out I had PCOS, and when my doctor just started putting everything together, that was the root of my chronic pain that I had been dealing with since puberty, really.
Yeah.
Really?
And that happened in the 4th grade. So I have literally been dealing with it all my life.
Wow.
So yeah.
Until this year. Why do you think that's the case? And I'm truly curious.
Well, I think because it started to get worse. So like I said, I started having cycles when I was in the 4th grade. Yeah, it was early. And I always dealt with real bad cramps. I always missed a lot of school. I was always hurting. Like I said, I was a sickle one. And no one ever knew why. So, of course you deal with those phases where you're not really sick, or, take this Tylenol and you going on to school. Like I've always missed a lot of school, a lot of work. Like that has just been it. And, it was unexplainable. Like one of those things you couldn't see, but I know how I felt, and I always didn't feel good. So, how people be like, you just got to suck it up and keep going. And when I was 16, I had one of my physicians found a cyst on my ovary. And at the time, it was the size of a honeydew melon. Like she could literally push my stomach, and she felt it. And I was overweight then. So, you just think you got some stomach. But when she was doing my pelvic exam, she pushed down on my stomach. And she was like, it's something that's not right here. And, once they got to measure and they took it out, it was the size of a honeydew melon. Like it was that large. So it probably had been growing just about all my life, like from the time I started my cycle. And I remember her telling me that I had an imbalance of hormones. But, you're 16, you having a major surgery, whatever. Like, okay.
Right.
I just want this to be over with. Like, so that happened, just go on with your life. So I knew that I always had like irregular cycles, just everything. But over the last couple of years, it really started getting bad. Like I started getting adult acne. And I have had a pretty good, great, clean skin. Like I started getting adult acne, and I was like, something not right. Then I started having real bad pains. Like my cramps were so bad, it felt like I was in labor, and I have not ever had kids. So it was like I felt like I was in labor, like I was having some children. Something is wrong. And just talking to my doctor, and then he started putting all my symptoms together, and he was like, Miss Spinks, I think you may have PCOS. I was like, okay, what's that? And he started explaining it, and I was like, okay. So of course I went to Dr. Google when I got home, and I started reading the symptoms, and I was like, okay, it's been hard for me to lose weight. Like, okay, I have facial hair growth. Like, all of these were just in tune. The symptoms, I was like, oh my God. So he sent me to an endocrinologist who specializes in hormone testing. And I would say, I think that all women should see an endocrinologist, whether you think you have PCOS or not. Like, our hormones control our body. And if you have a daughter, I think that when girls start going through puberty, that should be one of the first things we do, to go see an endocrinologist, because you never know. So after I saw the endocrinologist and she confirmed that I had PCOS, things changed. Like, it was just something that clicked. It's a difference in being sick and you don't know, like you have an invisible illness, you don't feel good, I'm tired, I don't know why. And to go from, okay, I don't know why, to now I know why, and now you can be proactive and do something to change it.
Right.
So yeah, so that's my story.
Thank you for sharing your story, dear.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna bring this up because it's a huge accomplishment, and like, I want to congratulate you and just hug and smooches and all that stuff to you on your journey. Why don't you tell them what you've done since March?
Well, since March, I have adjusted to a low carb, high fat diet, and I have lost 40 pounds so far.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've been working hard.
Now, did you send that over to me? That's the question.
We sent it to the fat cemetery. It's to the fat cemetery next door to the pet cemetery.
No, not the pet cemetery,
Yeah. Right next door to the pet cemetery. The fat is next door to the pets. No, we good.
Give them something to eat on, they'll be all right.
Okay. Yes, we're gonna put them on the low carb, high fat diet too.
So is that something you embarked upon by yourself, or was that help from like a nutritionist or doctor or something?
Well, I was talking to one of my blog friends, Summer. Her blog is Dirty Floor Diaries. And she started telling me about the low carb diet. And so I was seeing her post about how she was losing weight. And I inboxed her and I started asking her about it. So she sent me some links. One of the links that she sent me was a book to read called Why We Get Fat by Gary Toth. And he doesn't deal specifically with PCOS, but he deals with really why we get fat, how our hormones affect weight loss, weight gain, how we feel, how we act. And it really gave me just a lot of in-depth knowledge about fat and how it operates. And from there, I just started dabbling in it like in mid-March. And then by April, I was just kind of full throttle. I had just started adjusting to like changing. Instead of eating potatoes, I would eat cauliflower mash. Like just started taking small things and just adjusting it and going from there. So, and it works for me. And as I've been doing more reading on Dr. Google, many women tried the low carb diet and they find that they actually, most people with PCOS have fertility issues. And a lot of women who start, adjusting to the low carb diet, they find that their cycle starts to get regular, which I have started to experience.
Okay.
It increases their chances for fertility. And a lot more doctors are learning more about low carb diets and how it affects women with PCOS. So it's just kind of one of those things. It's just, it's still kind of like in the early stage of figuring out like what works, what doesn't work. And of course, it's not a one size fits all pill, but it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's working for you, boo, keep doing it because you rocking
exactly.
So
exactly. I would say that diet, meaning like what I was eating, made a difference for me. Not dieting, as in dieting specifically for like, oh, I want to be obsessive around food. But more actually just focusing on the foods that I was taking in, because like you. I actually was diagnosed with PCOS in 1997. And so, I got a diagnosis a little bit earlier, but I can't say that I had understanding and answers any earlier. Because back then, fewer doctors knew than what they know now.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the biggest things that I did notice for me was that when I started eating, I changed up my food at that point. Like I had, the real irregular cycles and all that going on. And the doctors tried to put me on all this medicine. And even at that time, I didn't like medicine. And so I knew I didn't want to do that. For me, I didn't want to do medicine. I changed up the way I was eating, and I was able to see like the regulation of my cycles and all that. And when I went back and told the doctor, she didn't believe me. Like she's like, have you been taking your medicine? I was like, no, I decided to opt out of it, and I decided that I didn't want to take the medicine anymore. I changed the way that I was eating. And she asked me, she said, so your periods are regular now? I said, yeah. And since then, they have been like clockwork, knock on wood. They've been like clockwork since then. And I haven't had any more problems with them. Now, what really was more challenging for me was regulating my insulin. I don't have diabetes, but I was diagnosed with insulin resistance, which just means that my body is blind to the insulin in my system. So it doesn't know that it's there. So it doesn't burn it off. So that means I have to, like watch the carbs and the simple sugars and all of that, because my body won't burn it. And that's what contributed to a lot to, my size and me being a larger body person. So, paying attention to those things made all the difference for me. And once I realized, okay, I can eat this, but I can't eat that, or I have to eat these two things in a combination. If I eat a fruit, I need to eat some peanut butter or some nut. It's like I just experimented until I figured it out.
I totally understand. I also am insulin resistant.
Okay.
Like I never understood why. Like my doctors were like, we would talk about like I have dark spots on my jaws, on my neck, and usually people who have dark spots have diabetes.
Yeah.
But I never had diabetes, and my doctor could never explain. Like I'm like, okay, I'm not diabetic. Like why are these dark spots on my face? Like I just don't understand. So it was like always like a thorn in the side for me. Like what's going on? And so now when I was diagnosed with PCOS, when the endocrinologist pulled out my blood work, I was diabetic. But the crazy thing was I had just had a physical like in August of 2014. And here it is, March 2015. And I went from like a 6.5 on my A1C, which is considered to be pre-diabetic, to an 8.5. And she was just talking and she said, this is not normal. Like something is not right. She was like, you don't transition that fast.
Yeah.
So so we were talking, and I was just like, she prescribed medicine, and I got to the pharmacist, and the lady said the pills were $2.50 or something. I said, $2 for 30 days worth of pills? If you're taking something for something, you expect to be a little bit more expensive, especially when it comes to prescription drugs here in America. She said $2. So I took the pills home. And I just kept looking at that red bottle like
side-eyeing
it. $2? That was just the only thing that stuck in my head. So, I used to work in a liquor store, y'all. The cheaper the liquor was, the stronger it was. Like it was just something about it. $2? So I could not wrap my head around taking that medicine. And And I felt like if it's this cheap, that means that everyone is taking it. It's like antibiotics. They're very cheap because it's something that's widely distributed on a regular basis. Like, I was just like, no, we're not gonna do a quick fix. Like, this is not what's going to happen. And I had already started reading the book Why We Get Fat, and another book that I read was Master Your Metabolism by Jillian Michaels. And it's not one of her workout books, you know, she be doing all that hollering and stuff. It actually talks about your hormones.
Okay.
So it really breaks down your hormone process and how it affects fat. And I was just reading, and then I was dabbling in the low carb, high fat, and then I eventually just transitioned over in April and just went full throttle. And when I went back like 2.5 months later and did another A1C, it had dropped from 8.5 to 6.5.
Oh, wow.
With the low carb, high fat diet. And my doctor was like, so that really justifies, like, it's really your PCOS that's kicking your blood sugar out of whack like that. So that's what really motivated me to stick with the low carb, high fat diet and know that, you know, when you know that you're insulin resistant, you know that you have to make some changes. Yeah. And like now that I've started my diet, like my face, I can see it like lightening up, like just the way my skin is. My acne is not so bad. You know, I just see a lot of changes. Like I said, it's not a quick fix for everybody, but you know, you just have to work it and figure out what works for you, because the same thing is not going to work for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
I know. I'm so happy for you.
So that was my scare. Like, I was like, I am not about to be giving myself any shots. Like, for real though. $2 pills. I do not see this in my future.
You scared of those pills.
Girl, let me tell you something. When I went back and did that A1C and he said it was 6.5, he was like, you know, technically it's still considered pre-diabetic, but you keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, okay. And I went home and I flushed him down the toilet. Like, we are not going to do this. Like, I held on to him because I was afraid, but I started taking my blood sugar too. So I noticed how the numbers had started decreasing and, you know, just staying constant and like, seeing how food affected me. Like, I would go to the doctor and he was like, how long has it been since you've eaten? I'll be like 2 hours or an hour. And he would be like, you know, they prick your fingers when you go. And he was like, your numbers are good for you to just have eaten. And one thing I want to say above all is we have to learn to be our own health advocates.
Yes.
Just because your doctor says that you need to take a drug does not mean that you have to take a drug.
Yeah.
The end choice is your choice. Now, if you have some life-threatening, you know, illness happening where you for real need to take drugs, then okay, you need to work with your doctor to find a resolution. But unfortunately, we live in a society where, you know, we focus on illness after it happens as opposed to being proactive about it and, you know, trying to deal with it before it happens. And, you know, you don't have to do everything your doctor says. And your doctor needs to be on board with how you feel, because I tell my doctor all the time, now he listens to me. I used to tell him, look, I've been walking around with this body all my life. I know when something is wrong with me. You don't know my body better than I know my body.
Exactly.
So you have to have a doctor that's in tune with you. Just because you have a doctor don't mean you cannot fire him or her. Like, deuces.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I've done that before.
You get on board or it's a wrap.
More than once.
Yes.
And you have to have.
That's important.
It is, and we have to be our own health advocates. And oftentimes we look at people like doctors and lawyers, and we're intimidated because we feel like they're so much smarter than us. No, man. When I'm spending my money, you gonna run the services.
They work,
and that's what they are.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you run the services, if I don't agree with them, it's just like if I go and buy some business cards. I don't like these. No, we're gonna have to do this again. Or you find someone else to do it.
Yeah.
And you may have to shop around to 3, 4, 5 doctors, and that is okay. But find someone who is in tune with how you feel, who listens to you, and you all work to come up with a solution together.
Yeah.
So, like my doctor, he says, I don't know anything about low carb, but if it's working for you, it works for me.
Exactly.
So
I was going to say I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying I'm glad that your doctor is on board with you and working with you during this process, because otherwise, I mean, then you have to be out shopping, like you said, shopping for a new doctor and all that bull.
Because I'll quit you. Because I'll quit you. Like, bye.
We're not dating anymore, Doc.
Okay.
This relationship is over.
You have bad blood.
Yes.
I was going to mention that when you were talking about that, like your A1C had went up and you got diagnosed with diabetes, and a lot of people don't know that, particularly like type 2 diabetes, a lot of times it is reversible through your diet and your lifestyle. But the doctors almost never tell you that, because they do want to get you on that cycle of, medicine, because, they're writing their prescriptions, they're getting their kickback from the prescriptions. And of course, you're coming to see them every 6 months, 4 to 6 months or whatever. So they're getting their money from that. But, they're really not. And I think that this is something, Kesha, that you and I learned by going to IIN, is that most of the time physicians are not even trained in nutrition, period. Like,
not at all.
Yeah, they don't know anything about nutrition and how food can heal. That's just not, part of their curriculum when they become doctors. So they're there to fix what's broken, but they're definitely not there to be preventative, and they're definitely not there to teach you about any holistic or natural options.
Which is why we really, really have to be proactive in interviewing, just like we would interview for anything else. We hiring employees, or, if you're trying to get a nanny for your child, we go through extensive background checks and all this stuff for other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Why don't we do the same for our doctors? And if, if we're trying to get a doctor to help support our health, then we want somebody who, one, we have a good rapport with. Number two, understands, of course, our, what we're going through and our dis-ease. And then number three are not somebody who is just like, do what I tell you to do or else, or, you're wrong. Yeah. Those types of, I've had one of those too. And I'm like, you know what? Not coming back to you, but thanks. Didn't try to explain anything. Didn't try to, help me understand stuff. She's just like, either you do this or you're going to, or that's it. I'm like, really? Okay. Deuces.
Yeah.
I have a story for y'all, right? Uh-huh. So I told y'all I always been sickly, so these doctor stories, they just unlimited. So, as I was shopping for a new gynecologist, I went to the gynecologist. This is like earlier this year, when I'm having all of these issues, feeling like I'm in labor, when I'm on my cycle, like this is crazy. So I went to a new GYN gynecologist, and so it was my first time seeing him. So I was telling him, the issues that I was having with my reproductive system, how I was feeling. So I said, we were talking about my weight, and he told me that I was gaining weight, and I said, I can't lose weight. I was like, something is happening, and I said that I am consistently gaining weight. And I said, I don't eat a lot. I said, most days I don't eat breakfast. Sometimes I look up and it's 4:00 and I'll eat, and that'll be the only meal that I have for the day. And I said, I'm trying to do better about eating breakfast. Do you know what this old man told me? He said, Miss Spinks, you can't make me believe that you don't eat a lot.
Ooh.
Wow.
To know me, to know that I'm an educated hood girl. That's just who I am. I looked at him. I said, I beg your pardon. He said, I just can't believe that you don't eat a lot. Like, I said, so because I'm overweight, that means that I eat all the time. Is that what you're saying?
I believe that.
I said, well, you know what? I think that we're done with this. I said, I need to talk to the people at the front desk. I'm not paying for an office visit today. We're not doing this. And he was an older white man. And we have other issues in dealing with that. And he kept talking like he was about to put me up on the table as if I hadn't told him that we were done. So I told the nurse, I said, baby, we're done. And he constantly talking like he about to open up my legs, and no, we're not about to do this. That's not what we're going to do today. So I was like, so, and that's another issue in physicians attempting to fat shame you.
Yeah, it's fat shaming. Yep.
And I talked to the head nurse because I filed a complaint, and you have the right to file a complaint, whether it's with the clinic you're going to, the hospital, the state board in your state. Like, you can file complaints on physicians, and they have to investigate.
Yep.
And I
Mhm.
filed a complaint, and because you're not gonna, well, number one, you're not gonna disrespect me. That's not what you're gonna do today. Number two, we're not gonna do the fat shaming, boo. That's not what we're gonna do. And three, that you thought that it was okay for you to disrespect me, and you still thought that you was about to open my legs and touch me. Like, no. But there are some women who would have still gotten on their table, and it's important that we empower ourselves and be our own healthcare advocates. Like, a doctor disrespecting you, no, we done. It's a wrap. And you
Right.
find another doctor. We have a shortage of healthcare professionals in this country, but it's not that short. Get you another doctor.
They
And
would have thought that, they had no other option.
yeah,
While
like,
I'm here, let me just go ahead and let them know.
Shabba, he was not touching Boo Boo Kitty. That's not what you're gonna do. So, and then luckily my next gynecologist, he is awesome. And now I have a team of doctors who work together. My gynecologist, my general physician, and my endocrinologist, they
That's
all work
awesome.
together, looking at lab work together, like, sending each other notes about it. And they're all working together to basically, I want to do a holistic approach
Yeah.
and diet and exercise. And they're all on board with that. And they work together so that it works for me.
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome. That's
so
almost
yeah.
a miracle, because it's so hard sometimes to get the team. Especially like you said, someone that's not going to fat shame you, because unfortunately that happens a lot in the medical field, because there's the automatic assumption that if you are a larger body person, that you did it to yourself, that it's something that you caused on yourself, and that therefore you just need to stop eating and work out, and that's going to fix it. And they won't even go past that point. And the sad thing about it is that there's a lot of larger body people who are not getting the treatment they deserve. They're dying from things, because they're not even getting diagnosis, because the doctors just stop at the number on the scale, and they don't further investigate what's going on behind that number. Like, what is the root of that number sometimes? Or even if it's not anything that's causing the number, maybe there's other things that you're missing, but you're only focusing on one thing.
And that's the fat. And that's why I love Gary Toe's book. I would suggest that anyone read it. It's Why We Get Fat. Like, even if you're not fat, you really need to understand how your body operates.
Yeah.
And his book, he was a science journalist. So he had done a lot of research, and like I said, I'm an educated girl, so I check sources, and
Yeah,
so
and that's what we
like,
have to do. Yeah.
even as I research, like, I would double check his research to see, what studies or what journals you were reading. Like, do these really exist? And like you said, Kesha, that's what we have to do, because something that we really have to realize is, like, we have people that say, oh, these low carb diets, they're bad. High fat is bad. But the question that you have to ask is, who is paying for this research? Someone is always paying for the research. If the Kiwi company don't want you eating bananas, they'll pay somebody to produce a study that say that bananas are bad.
Exactly.
So when people finish telling you the stats, ask them who paid for them. Who wrote the check? That's all you need to know. When you find out who wrote the check, then you can justify whether this is valid information or not.
Exactly.
That's true.
Tell them to show you the receipts.
All right. Well, okay. So here's a question then. Since we're talking about invisible illnesses, and PCOS being one of them, and thank you guys, both of you, for sharing your experience with that and what your journey has been. What can other people do, or what can we do here? What are the the options that we have so that people understand, no, just because you say you're tired, there's nothing wrong with you, or just because you don't look like you're sick, you're not sick?
One, I think that we can be more empathetic toward one another. Oftentimes we feel like if I can do it, you can do it too. And we don't think about that, things are so much bigger than what you see.
Yeah.
Two, we can have a bit more humility. I think that's something that we're really lacking, especially when it comes to each other. Extend grace. If I don't show up at your event, because I'm an introvert, like really,
whatever. I know Yolanda. Whatever.
I'm an extroverted. I'm an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
So, but if I don't show up at your event, it's not because I'm throwing shade or I'm hating. I just don't feel good. And like with PCOS, like in addition to facial hair growth and acne, depression is one of the side effects.
Yeah.
You also have insulin resistance. You may have the insulin resistant version or you may not. It just depends, So all of these things, when your hormones are out of whack, it just makes you feel some kind of way. And you don't know which way is up.
Yeah.
And to just be supportive, like do what you can to support people. It's easy to be on the outside looking in and you really don't know, but to just support people, like ask people, what do you need? Like, okay, you're not feeling well. Is there anything I can do? Just, leave your shady comments to yourself, stop thinking that it's all about you, because 9 out of 10, it's not about you.
Yeah.
And 10 out of 10, it ain't never about the other person.
So, and then when it comes to PCOS, like when you look at the statistics for it, you have 4 to 12% of the women in America that have PCOS, and guess what? Over half of them haven't even been diagnosed.
Yeah.
So, you wondering, even though someone hasn't been diagnosed with it, that doesn't mean that they don't have it. And like, as I begin to like research my journey and I think about my mom, she had facial hair growth. She was overweight. And, as I just look back and I'm like, and PCOS is hereditary. You can get it from your mom or your dad's side of the family. Mm-hmm. So my mom possibly had PCOS because most of the times if your mom has it, some of her kids or her kid would have it, and it runs in families. My niece was diagnosed with it a few months ago. So, it's hereditary, and we need to know things like this. Like, we need to know whether we have a sickle cell trait or not. Like, we need to know things like this because it affects us, and when it affects our families, it affects how we treat each other. Like you said, girl, I can count the times when people be like, girl, ain't nothing wrong with you, or when people ask the question. So I get this rude sister. People be like, Yolanda, why you ain't got no kids? Girl, she can't have no kids. Look, and this is like before I know I had PCOS, but there are a lot of women with PCOS that had fertility issues, and for someone to have an issue like that, and for people to make these come, first of all, it's why you ain't got no kids? None of your business. I might not want any. But two, to make these scenarios and the marks about what people can't have, like, it's just rude and disrespectful, And we just have to learn to be more empathetic about people, to stay in our own lane and get out of people's business.
Unless you are actually trying to be supportive for real.
Yeah, right. Like, because you don't know the struggles that people fight, behind closed doors. So, like, for real, if you're not going to support them, like, don't knock them down. Like, keep it moving.
Right.
So, yeah. So, that's just a little bit of how I feel about it.
I know during Invisible Illness Week, we had a Twitter chat, and one of the things that kept coming up was don't make assumptions. Like, don't assume that you know what a person is going through, period. And when it comes to invisible illnesses, like a lot of times, like you said, people take it personal that you cancel things or you're not there, or people will ask you, aren't you feeling better yet? But the thing is, if you have a chronic illness, that's something that does not go away. It's not like the flu where it's like, yeah, I'm over that now. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to keep coming up. So, or people feel like you're always using it as an excuse, or they see it as a weakness, or, and the thing is, seeing it from the other person's perspective, like you said, the empathy, understanding that no one wants to be sick. Like no one wants to have to deal with symptoms. No one wants to have to miss out on going to things, or not be able to keep their word, or, you know, have fluctuating sugar levels and all those. That nobody wants to have that. So, you know, no one's getting pleasure out of saying, "Oh, I'm sick." You know, so I mean, some people might. There's a small percentage of people for everything. There's always an exception, but you know, the main thing is just don't make assumptions. And like you said, be empathetic. I know when you mentioned like not showing up for people's stuff, that happened to me like the first couple of years where I was really having insulin resistance issues. I was out for like a year straight. When I was living in Atlanta, people would invite me to social stuff and I would be like, oh yeah, I can come. And then the day of, either I did eat something or I didn't eat something, or it somehow it caused a spike, and then, you know, hypoglycemic drop, and I just couldn't go. And it makes you look like you're a flake, or it makes you look like, you know, you're not consistent, or all those things. But, you know, a lot of times there's all this other stuff going on behind the scenes that people just don't understand. And of course, when you tell someone, you know, I can't be there, you're not going to give them your whole medical history as the reason of why you can't be there.
I feel walking billboard.
Right. Well, I'm not there because today I ate bread, white bread. And
okay.
This is what happened. You know, you're not going to do all that. So.
Okay. Or bleed like a mule. Like, I don't want to have to go anywhere every 5 minutes. I'm asking you to check my pants. Like, no. But it is crazy. Like, you don't want to, but again, it goes to these images we have about, you know, what we assume things are or what they should be. And again, it's not even about you. Like, you creating these images in your head that really don't even exist.
Yeah.
And instead of just asking, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? Like, you know, you sure you're okay? Like, you need anything? Like, we don't ask those questions because, again, we get so caught up in it being all about us when it's not even about you.
Mm. Mm.
So, yeah. I totally can relate. I can relate.
Kesha.
Moral of the story is be patient, be kind. The stuff you were supposed to be anyway, right? Be that for other people.
Because if Yolanda is throwing you shade, you know it.
You're so silly.
If I don't fool with you, you know I don't fool with you. We're not going to play. We're not going to RSVP and don't show up. You know I ain't coming. You know it. So...
Ivy, did you have a question for me?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask how did you feel about opening our other seat to see if any of our guests want to come on?
Oh, we have a few minutes. Who's one? Sakaya, where's she at?
Hey, Sakaya.
Look, Wikipedia Brown, that name cracks me up. All right, the first time I saw his tweet, I was like, who is Wikipedia Brown? Yeah, Mark, I'm talking about you, bro. But yeah, and then again, guys, if you have any questions or feedback or anything you want to share with us, even after the show, we can still promote your responses and answer them too. So
yeah,
let us know what you got.
And I'm on social media. My main handle is Notorious Sphinx, but I am starting a new site, holisticpcos.com.
Yeah, tell us what you're going to be doing with that and how you're going to be helping people, Yo-Yo.
So my goal is to, one, share my story with PCOS because it's so in-depth. Like I said, it started at puberty, and now it's just beginning to become full circle where I can put a label to it, like I know what it is. But really to focus on holistic approaches to dealing with PCOS, with exercise, with diet, understanding how the products that we use affect our PCOS, like how it affects our hormones, like the products that they're putting in the shampoos and conditioners, cleaning products, how it knocks your hormones off balance, and how it's affecting you. Also, these processed foods that they're adding all these chemicals to. understanding that like these processed foods are knocking our bodies all out of whack. It's not just the sugar. Like they're actually using chemicals that they producing in a lab to make macaroni and cheese yellow. You know,
and that's my favorite. I sure hate
look,
it, man. They
to
messed
make
it up.
Kool-Aid red.
Right.
You know, like they're using chemicals to do this, and these chemicals are knocking your hormones out of sync. And if you're going to try to, you know, I feel like no one would ever have this perfect balance of hormones. However, we need to work to get them as perfect as they can be for us. And that's by living a healthy lifestyle, free of all these chemicals, free of all this processed food, you know, free of all these shampoos and conditioners with all this petroleum and mineral oil and parabens in it. Like we need to try to get our lives as clean and holistic as possible so that, you know, one, we can pass it down to our children.
Exactly.
So that they can expect more. You know, when I look at one of my friends, every day her son eats a macaroni and cheese, that microwave macaroni and cheese. And she be like, girl, he just won't sit down. I be like,
What's wrong with him?
And I told her one day, I said, I think it's that yellow number 5. And she said, what's that? I said, the food coloring.
That your son eating
every day. So, but when you look at other countries like Japan, the United Kingdom, the things that we allow in America in our food, because our government agencies have vested interests, they're getting paid and they allow it to happen. When you go to other countries, they don't allow those food dyes.
You know what? We should have asked Janet. Janet was on from the UK. It's 2:30 her time, so she went on to bed. But we should have asked Janet about what they eating over there in the UK.
If you ever do a Google search, like you can look up Nutri-Grain bars, the ingredients for American Nutri-Grain bars and ingredients for UK Nutri-Grain bars. Theirs have strawberries, ours have red food color. So we have to be advocates not only for our health, but for our food, and we have to hold our government officials accountable for it because it's killing us literally. And you may not have PCOS, but your hormones can still be out of whack, and it can cause other issues in your body, and it can cause issues. You wonder why your kids they talk about he ADD. No, he not ADD. He full of food color. He changed his diet to change his life.
Boom, you could drop the mic on that, boo.
Right.
Okay. Like
that sounds like a book. Change it.
Look, I'm gonna have to put that. Look, I'm gonna have to put that in my swipe file.
Right.
But yeah, so you know, we just have to get real about what's happening and be, you know, being for real about changing. And it's not easy because I promise you, Trader Joe's had these ginger snaps.
Don't get me started on those.
And Trader Joe's is coming to Memphis next summer. And I'm just like, Lord, what am I going to do that I don't have to drive to Nashville to get these ginger snaps, Lord? Look, usually that 3-hour drive would deter me, you know. But, now I'm going to be able to drive 10 minutes to get ginger snaps. Jesus, what am I going to do?
You're so silly.
It's not easy. And, like, I do a low-carb, high-fat diet, but, you know, I may have a serving of ginger snaps here and there, or sometimes I want the cake and I eat the cake.
As you
should, all right?
But I would say 90% of the time my diet is low carb, high fat. Like I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of anything. And like I said, sometimes I get in my feelings and I be like, I just want the cake and I may just give me the cake. And I eat it. Look, I eat it with no regrets. Like I unapologetically eat the cake.
Awesome.
And I'm so proud of you and your journey, boo. You have just been seriously my motivation, honestly, and what you're doing.
Yeah. I be
prime
working.
Example. Prime example of somebody.
If you hard out here for a pill, I'd be like, whew.
But you know what? But that's when other people will immediately say, okay, I can't do this. I'm just going back to my old life. And I know what that is versus trying the new thing, trying to get their health. Even though they know it may help them get better, the work and the effort that needs to be put in place won't get done. And that the point where you were saying, okay, I want the cake. Not just have one piece. Because I know I'm talking from experience. But I'm like, okay, well, after that, then what? Can I go just get back to the 90%? A lot of times.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you, you have to know yourself.
Yeah.
I was reading Oprah's book. Her book is called What I Know for Sure. And she mentioned in the book about her health journey. And she was talking about how sometimes she wants chocolate, but she had to change her mindset to teach herself that I don't have to eat the whole box of chocolates because it's plenty more where that came from. And you have to know your mindset.
Abundance.
Yeah, like sometimes you can fall out. Like for me, I can fall off the wagon, and tomorrow I'm back on it like ain't nothing happened. I can eat cake today, and tomorrow we back on low carb, under 20 net carbs a day, and I'm good. But somebody else, you might fall off, and you might be out for a month or 2 months or 3 months. You have to know. You have to know your mindset, and you have to know how you're able to operate. And like I said, it's not a one size fit all, one pill for everybody. Like you have to be honest about your relationship with food.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I'm an emotional eater, and like when I'm stressed out, I still emotionally eat, but I just emotionally eat low carb foods. Like I might go get some roast beef and some hot mustard. Like I'm still an emotional eater, so you just have to be real about what it is. Like if you know that if you eat a piece of chocolate today, you gonna eat the whole bar. Just try to get you a little bit of piece out the store and don't buy no more.
Exactly.
Like don't keep them in your house. Like
I've done that before. Like I bought
like
a bag of M&Ms and like poured some out and then like threw the rest of the trash. I guess I should have gave them to somebody because I know I'm like if I hold on to this bag the whole
you're gonna eat them.
It's gonna be like I don't have it. Or like if I get cake, I'll get it by the slice. Like I don't buy a whole cake, or I can't buy like a whole box of donuts because I know I don't have, I just don't have the wherewithal to not eat them all. So it's like I don't have that in myself.
Yeah. So I would tell y'all like my ginger snaps, like it's real. I used to eat. I would go to Nashville 2 times a year, and I would have like a bucket of ginger snaps for each month. And I literally bought 2 in July, and I still have half a bucket left because and so what is it? October now, so I've had August, September, October, so it's been 3 months. So and I gave some of those away. But I break them down into servings of 6, and it's like 20 some carbs per serving. And when I just have to have some, I just have to have it, and I keep on moving. And I know that it's some more where that came from.
Love it.
But you have to know, just be for real about your patterns. Like, be for real about what's really going on. Like, don't be trying to fake the funk and do what your friends do. If you know you ain't about that cheating life, don't cheat. Like, if you need to stay on the wagon, you stay on the wagon. And tell your friends, don't be trying to entice me. And you have to have a tribe. You have to have a support system. Like, my friend, she was like, we having a Halloween party, and we're going to make sure we have some low-carb food for you. Like, you have to have your tribe, and they have to be ride or die with you. If your friends trying to tell you, let's go to the cake house, and they know you can't have no cake right now, you need to reevaluate your friends.
Did she say cake or crack?
Which one? Right. I was
No,
like, there's a cake house. Where is
one in the same?
Look, the cheese. Look, I just found out the Cheesecake Factory got low carb cheesecake. Yeah. And
Girl, leave them alone. Leave them alone.
I tell you, and I'm real about like my friends. They were having a high school class reunion meeting in Rafferty's. When I go to Rafferty's, I'm gonna have croissants, and I told them I was not coming, and I did not go because I knew the struggle was gonna be real. When I know that something is going to entice me so much to the point to where I ain't gonna have no sense, I ain't going, and I didn't go. Yeah. And you just have to be real about what it is. I don't know that I can stop at 1%. And they just gonna keep bringing them. I don't know that I can stop. I don't go to Logan because I don't think that I can stop at one piece of bread, and they just gonna be putting bread in front of me. Right, I ain't been to Red Lobster because I don't think I can stop at one biscuit.
One biscuit.
I don't think I can go to Red Lobster and not eat a biscuit.
Do you think it helps you that you have, first of all, you've been this far in your journey, right? Especially this past year. And then it helps to know that, you know what, this is for my health, because I know what happens when I go the other way, when I do something like I used to do. You know what that is and what that feels like, right? So that would be the difference, I think, for other people to know, look, some of us got a long way to go.
Yeah.
You know, and correcting our health. So
and I
it's
have
not
a
going to be
long way to
tomorrow.
go. When I look at these, I'm telling you, I'm in a lot of groups, like with low fat groups, low carb groups, and the women be losing weight. And they be like, they lost 40 pounds, and it's like they lost the whole self. And I be like, my fat rose and got smaller, but I ain't get small like that.
It's all good.
Like,
it's all good.
you know, you be looking like, but you know, you have to like keep telling yourself like, okay, keep going. My fat ain't distributed like they fat distributed. Like, let's keep it moving. And you know, at the end of the day, you have to know, like Drake say, I'm gonna do this for me though. Like, I'm doing this for me, and everybody not gonna be on your team, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you have to have your team of people that's gonna ride or die with you. Like, you know, they ain't gonna be telling you, come on, let's go eat cake, and they know cake gonna kill you. Like, no. So you have to have your tribe, and you have to be very selective about your tribe, and you have to understand that you can't talk to everybody about the choices that you're making, because everybody's not gonna be on board. Because people be like, "Girl, I don't think I could do that," and really what they be saying is, "Girl, I don't even know why you doing it, honey. You might as well, you might as well down eat that watermelon." That's what they're really saying. So you need to be selective about who you have those conversations with, because everybody is not gonna be there to build you up. Like, just be for real about it. Like I said, get your tribe of 2 or 3 who gonna ride or die with you, that you can call and cry when you know you don't need to eat the cake, but you really want the cake. Whew. Y'all know I love cake. Like, cake. Whew.
And I love biscuits. Like Zakiya over there talking about she loves biscuits. I take a biscuit over cake any day, especially if it has butter and honey on it. Oh yes.
No ma'am, give me the cake all day long. Whew. Some cake versus a biscuit. The biscuit's gonna lose every time.
Oh my God, dude, we could sit here and laugh all day and all night because Yo-Yo is freaking hilarious for one. It's my boo. You know, we're in masterminds together, so anytime I talk to her, just want to let y'all know I'm always laughing about it. She cracks me up to tears sometimes. So I would love, I'm sure Ivy would as well, love to have you back on one, at another show to talk about.
Look, I need to come out for my next 40 pounds because I'm trying to get 2-piece ready. Whew.
So silly.
I'm ready for this 2-piece. Like, I hope y'all be ready because I'm be ready.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, I'm prepping for this 2-piece that I want to be in next summer. So I'm working. My next goal, and I'm gonna say this: set realistic goals. Like, if you know you got 200 pounds to lose, don't be hollering about some, I want to lose 200 pounds in a year. Like, no, you're not going to be doing that unless you are one of these lose weight quick schemes. Like, set realistic goals. My first goal was to lose my first 65. And it was 65 because they will put me under 300 pounds. So, I was looking at my weights from like back to 2006, and I haven't been under 300 pounds in over 10 years. And I was like, oh my God, like to see it on paper, like,
yeah.
So set realistic goals about what you want to do. Don't be selling yourself no pipe dreams and lollipops. Just be real about what it is.
I like lollipops.
Girl, just give me the cake. Set realistic goals. Do one thing at a time.
Yes.
When I decided that I wanted to do low carb, high fat, I got into the habit of doing low carb, high fat, and I did it for like 3 months before I even started exercising. Then when I started exercising, like, that's the only thing that I'm focusing on right now. I do T25 and I walk. So work yourself in phases. Like, don't be trying to wake up tomorrow and do everything on the same day.
Run a marathon.
Like pace yourself. Write down a list of what you want to do. Figure out what you're going to do first, what you're going to do second, what you're going to do third, and you work to accomplish them, in phases. And I like to work in 3-month phases. By 3 months, you should have created a habit. So
do you help people with this? Like, how can people learn more about you and what you're doing?
Well, I created the site. It's going to launch on the 18th. Holistic PCOS. But I really want to focus on PCOS. So I'm getting my master's in public health already. So once I finish with that, I actually want to go on to be a dietitian. To be a
Awesome.
dietitian. So I created a Facebook group, Holistic PCOS Support on Facebook. So it's for PCOSers. So but people inbox me when they see you losing weight, they inbox you, and I just tell them about low carb because that's what I'm doing. It's what works for me. And like I said, you have to do what works for you. You may be able to lose weight and you still eat rice, but it don't work for me.
Right.
So, I tell them, and people, when they want to know more about low fat, low carb, high fat, I tell them what I'm doing, and they can just kind of go from there. But I don't coach anything. Like I eventually want to work myself up to that. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. But y'all can find me online.
Yes. Okay. Tell us where to find you right now.
Right now you can find me in Notorious Spanx. Cause I'm just notorious.
NotoriousSpanx.com?
Yeah. Or either online, social media, anywhere is Notorious Spanx. Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, wherever. What else? Oh, I started Holistic PCOS. I set up the social media channels. Like I said, we launch on 18th. So that will be up soon. We're getting prepared for that. So especially if you have PCOS or you have a family member or a friend that's affected by PCOS, I just really look to get into the root, dealing with it from the ground up instead of letting medicine, be our first approach, really dealing with it from a food approach. Like, our healing is really in our food system.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Not the GMO food, but just the regular, food that come out the ground.
That's a whole nother show right there.
Right? Look, we have to tell the truth, So yeah, so that's where I am.
Okay, and then I also have on YouTube and the blog and all that stuff, we'll have links to all of your spaces so people can connect with you further.
Yeah.
And then send me a link to your group. I want to share that as well. I think that would be a great resource for people.
I will. Thank y'all for having me. Like, Kesha is my favorite. She make me laugh too.
Love you.
Look, she can't be side-eyeing me and stuff.
I want to let people know before we hop off what our next show is. And that one, Ivy, is When Love Hurts, isn't it? Our next show for October 21st.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, October 21st. Same place on Blab. Same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. We'll be talking about education and empowerment to eradicate domestic violence. When Love Hurts. So join us for that show. In the meantime, head on over to chatchewingyou.com. Get on the list so you can be notified of our upcoming shows, just in case you're not always hanging out in Blab or anything like that. We only send out information about the shows for now with the newsletter, so hop on the list. Yours tonight.
No, this was awesome. I'm so glad that you were here, and you I love your just your approach to PCOS and food and health and nutrition and holistic wellness. All of it resonates with me. So it's awesome to have you here and hear you share. Yeah, we definitely can talk some more. And I'm gonna find your group and get in there and join your link to it. Okay.
Thank you all for having me. It was awesome. Like, I hope I didn't run your guests away because I'm silly.
No, shoot, they run away from you, we got problems.
So yeah, thank you for having me. But I just want more people to be educated about, not only PCOS, but just those hidden illnesses that people have, so that we can just really stop being so judgmental about people. To be, more empathetic, have more humility, extend more grace to people, and just understand that just because, you may be able to live this life that's, just fine and dandy, at least that's what it looks like on social media anyway.
Right.
But, everyone is not in their place, and, it's just better to support people or leave them alone.
Thank you. Thank you. We love you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye, y'all. Bye, Zakia.
Bye.
I'll be over there acting brand new.
See, then I gotta